Have you ever thought, oh, I wish I could express myself better in English? Whenever I have an English conversation, I feel like I'm just using the same words again and again and again. I want to be able to explain what I'm talking about in a more convincing way, a more descriptive way, a more realistic way, and I just don't have the right words. Well, never fear. In today's English lesson, I am going to help you learn 10 commonly used daily life English phrases that I really used. You will see some examples in daily life. I want you to be able to use them yourself when you speak. If you are new here, hi, I'm Vanessa from speakenglishwithvanessa.com. Every Friday, I make a new free English lesson for you right here on my channel. Plus, I create a free PDF worksheet with every lesson, including today's vocabulary lesson. So, in this free PDF worksheet, you will get all of the information you are about to learn today, all of the daily life phrases, definitions, sample sentences. Plus, when you download the PDF worksheet, you will get access to a quiz. This quiz will test to see if you really understand these phrases, if you can really use them in sentences yourself. So, how can you download this PDF worksheet plus bonus quiz? All you need to do is click on the link in the description, enter your name and email address, and voila! Just like that, the PDF worksheet will land in your email inbox. And do you want to know something cool? You never need to sign up for my weekly free worksheets again. I will automatically send them to you every single week. You sign up once and you continue to receive them. This is my gift to you. So make sure you click on the link in the description to get this free PDF worksheet plus bonus quiz today. All of the 10 real-life daily English expressions that you're going to learn today were used in my most recent English lesson where I made bread and I talked to you while I was baking bread, while I was mixing the ingredients and making a little bonus drink as well. So these are real-life words that I just used while I was chit-chatting while making bread. So the first phrase that we're going to look at today is lukewarm. Lukewarm. This phrase is actually a 2-for-1. It can mean 2 different things. So let's watch the original clip while I was making bread and I used the phrase lukewarm. Then I'll explain it to you and then we'll take a look at that clip again. And I want you to see how your listening skills improve, how you can understand more of the context based on the explanations that I've shared with you. So let's watch the clip and then we'll walk through it together. All right, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of salt as well. And next we're gonna add water. So you want water that's kind of lukewarm. In this clip, you heard me say you want to add water that's lukewarm. This is the first, most basic meaning for lukewarm. When talking about water, it's not too hot, not too cold. It is lukewarm. You can touch it and feel like, okay, it's not going to burn me. It's not freezing. It's just lukewarm. Well, what about the second meaning for this phrase? What if I said, he's so lukewarm? Does that mean his skin is not too hot and not too cold? Nope. This is a negative thing to say about someone. If you're talking about a person and you call them lukewarm, it means that they don't have values or standards or passion. So, for example, one of the causes in the world that I care about is caring about the North Korean people. I used to live in South Korea for a few years and I did a lot of research and I met a lot of North Korean people. It was something that touched me really deeply. So it's a part of my life now that I donate and I participate in some organizations that help to care for North Korean people. This is something that is a passion of mine personally. But what if I meet someone and I start talking about North Korean people and things that can help them and problems that they face, and that person just says, yeah, well, you know, their leader's crazy, and, well, yesterday I had a sandwich for lunch. Is that going to kill my passion? Yes. In that moment, I would probably feel disappointed. I might say, man, when I was talking about my passion for helping North Korean people, he was just so lukewarm. He didn't care at all. He wasn't curious. He didn't even have a heart for them. He wasn't even empathetic towards them. He was just lukewarm. Not a good thing, right? It doesn't mean you need to have passion about everything, but when someone is sharing their passion with you, you can at least say, oh, that's really interesting. Tell me more about it. Okay, you're connecting with them. All right, let's watch that clip one more time, and you're gonna see how lukewarm was used in that original sense to talk about the temperature of water. Make sure that you don't say this about someone to their face. You are lukewarm. A little bit negative, right? All right, let's watch. All right, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of salt as well. And next we're gonna add water. So you want water that's kind of lukewarm. The second phrase is, we'll see what happens. Let's watch the clip and then we'll talk about it. I have done that before. Tried to bake bread with cold water. Doesn't work. All right, so we're gonna put in 3 of these. I'm gonna put in a little bit less than 3 and we'll see what happens. In this clip, you heard me say, I'll put in a little less than 3 cups of water and we'll see what happens. I want you to notice first the pronunciation of this phrase. It is, we will see what happens, but when we make the contraction, we will, it could be we'll. This is the clear pronunciation. We'll. But when we're speaking relatively fast in American English, we often reduce this and it just sounds like wool. You're almost swallowing that final sound. Wool. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's these types of pronunciation tricks that often make English sound so fast when you're watching movies and TV shows. So good news, you just learned one pronunciation trick and that will hopefully help you to understand a little bit better. So when would we use this? We'll see what happens. This is when you're not exactly sure what the result's gonna be, but you're open to figuring it out. So for example, today, right now, my 2-year-old daughter is taking a nap, but sometimes she decides not to sleep. And today I was planning on making this lesson for you, so I need her to take a nap so that I can record this. Well, in the beginning of the day, I saw my neighbor and they asked, well, what are you gonna do today? I said, well, when Matilda takes a nap, I'm going to try to record some English lessons, but we'll see what happens. I don't know exactly if she's going to fall asleep. I don't know exactly if I'll be able to record this lesson for you, but guess what? She is napping, so hooray! I can film this lesson for you. So at the beginning of the day, I didn't know what was going to happen, but right now I do know. There was success. Okay, let's watch this original clip again and you can hear this phrase, we'll see what happens. Listen for that pronunciation as well. Let's watch. I have done that before. Tried to bake bread with cold water. Doesn't work. All right, so we're gonna put in 3 of these. I'm gonna put in a little bit less than 3 and we'll see what happens. The next phrase is a fun one, but you know what? Who cares? Let's listen to the original clip from the conversation and then I'll help you use it yourself. Let's watch. Sorry, I am very unofficial when it comes to this, but you know what? This recipe is so forgiving, who cares? In this clip, you heard me say, I'm very unofficial when it comes to this, but you know what? This recipe is forgiving, so who cares? This phrase is used when you're not really worried about something. Maybe it's something that's small, like adding the wrong amount of ingredients to a forgiving recipe, or maybe it's something else, you're not worried about it. So you might say, well, you know what? Who cares? I don't care, so I'm not gonna worry about it. We could use this in the same example where I'm thinking about, I hope my daughter sleeps so that I can record some lessons. And as I'm thinking about it, well, let's say she does not nap. She just stays awake, she is laughing and talking, maybe crying, and I can't record the lessons that I want to. Well, I might say, well, you know what? Who cares? I'll just record them tomorrow or the next day, whenever she takes a nap next. this is an important mindset. In the past, I have gotten frustrated and angry because I thought I would be able to do the plans that I wanted. I'd be able to record a lesson, I'd be able to work, I'd be able to see friends, whatever it was that I wanted to do. And when the circumstances didn't work out, maybe my kids didn't nap, maybe it was raining outside, whatever it was, and my plans got canceled, instead of getting frustrated or angry, you can use this phrase. Well, you know what? Who cares? I'll do it another time. Okay, let's see how this was used in the original conversation where I was baking bread, and I hope you'll be able to use this too, to just shrug off things that you might be worried about. Let's watch.
Sorry, I'm very unofficial when it comes to this, but you know what? This recipe is so forgiving, who cares?
The next daily life English phrase is a fun one. It is blood, sweat, and tears. This is a fixed phrase that always sticks together. So let's watch the original clip and then I'll break it down with you so that you can use it yourself. Let's watch.
You gotta put some muscle behind it. You gotta put some, not blood, sweat, and tears. It's not that hard. But you gotta mix it up a little bit.
In this clip, I used this phrase in a negative way. I said you don't have to put blood, sweat, and tears into it. It's not that hard. I was trying to explain that that bread recipe is so easy, and when you're kneading it, when you're mixing it, yeah, mix it for a few minutes, but you don't have to put blood, sweat, and tears into it. This trifold, three-part phrase, blood, sweat, tears, it evokes a sense of working hard. You have put everything into it. And I said, for that bread recipe, you don't need to put everything into it. Just do a little bit. You can do the minimal work and it will still turn out to be a good loaf of bread. That's my kind of baking. But when can you use this phrase in a more positive sense? I want to give you an example about this work that I do, teaching you English. I have been working with my business, Speak English with Vanessa, teaching you English here on YouTube, and I also make courses that can help to guide you through your English journey for the last almost 12 years. I can't believe it. And you guessed it, I have put blood, sweat, and tears into this business. I don't know if I have actually bled. I have sweat. I have probably cried. I have shed tears. So here it doesn't need to be literal. I've literally bled. I've literally sweat. I've literally had tears. I'm talking about this hard effort. All of the effort that it takes to build a business over 12 years. If you have ever done this, then you know it takes blood, sweat, and tears to accomplish successfully. It's a lot of work, but you guys are worth it. I love you, each and every one of you. All right, let's watch the original clip so that you can see how I used blood, sweat, and tears. Let's watch.
You gotta put some muscle behind it. You gotta put some, not blood, sweat, and tears. It's not that hard. But you gotta mix it up a little bit.
The next daily life English phrase is actually a suffix, which means it goes at the end of many different words, and it is ish. Ish. We're going to take a look at how it was used in the original conversation, and then I'm going to read you part of this classic children's book that uses this phrase a lot. Let's watch the clip, and then I'll talk to you about it. Let's go.
All right, I'm gonna start mixing it 30 times. I'm just gonna count to myself. Ish, 30-ish. I'm trying to, they call it, develop the gluten.
In this clip, you heard me say, I'm going to mix this 30 times. And then I paused and said 30-ish. You might even use this gesture where you kind of wiggle your hand back and forth while it's open. 30-ish. You might not even need to say ish if you do this motion. You could say, I'm going to bake this 30 times. Okay, I didn't say 30-ish, but it implied the same meaning. What does that mean? It means about, not exactly. So if you mix it 30 times exactly or 34 times, it doesn't matter for this recipe. It's not exact. It's just 30-ish. This is a really fun suffix to add. It can add some color or flair to your language. You can use this with so many words. That pillow is blue-ish. It was raining-ish outside. Oh, I'm feeling kind of tired-ish today. I did some work-ish today. It means not exactly work. You see how it's so flexible. Well, I want to read you an excerpt from a book that I was reading my daughter this morning. It is called The Lorax. It's one of my favorite children's books of all time. It is very deep about caring for the environment. It is very silly. It uses so many made-up words that are not actually English. So if you read this as an English learner, just know there's a lot of made-up words. But here is a section where the author is describing this little character. He's called the Lorax, and he's trying to describe his appearance. Well, this is an imaginary made-up creature. So how do you describe how he looks? It's kind of hard. But when you have the power of the suffix ish, all of a sudden you can describe him. So listen to how this creature, the Lorax, is described. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharp-ish and bossy. So here, ish is used at the end of so many words, and how fun is that? It's poetry, it's descriptive, it's a great expression that you can add to your vocabulary as well. Okay, so let's see how this was used again in the real conversation, and I challenge you to use ish in your conversations when you're describing something that's about something. Let's watch.
All right, I'm gonna start mixing it 30 times. I'm just gonna count to myself. Ish, 30-ish. I'm trying to, they call it, develop the gluten.
The next daily life phrase is hands-on. Hands-on. Let's see how it was used, and then we'll talk about it together.
They call it 5-minute artisanal bread because it's about 5 minutes of hands-on work.
In this clip, you heard me say how there's only about 5 minutes of hands-on time. There's a lot of waiting. You have to wait for 2 hours. You have to wait for 35 minutes. But the amount of hands-on time is only about 5 minutes. What does this mean? Well, in the case of baking bread, it is actually using my hands for 5 minutes. It is hands-on for 5 minutes, but the general sense of this expression is that it is only 5 minutes when you're actively doing something. So let me give you another example of how you can use hands-on to talk about actively doing something. If you are a parent, if you're a mom or a dad, or if you're a grandparent, a grandma or a grandpa, well, when you are with the children, do you just sit on the couch and watch them play? Or do you read them books? Do you play with them? Do you chase them? What kind of parent are you? What kind of grandparent are you? Are you a hands-on parent? Or maybe you are a hands-off parent. I think as kids, we always want a hands-on parent. Someone who will read with us when we want them to. Someone who will play with us, who will chase us. This is a hands-on parent. As a parent, I cannot always be hands-on. Sometimes I need to let them play by themselves so that I can get other things done or just take a little break. But it is important to be hands-on sometimes with your kids or grandkids, right? So that's the time when you are active. You are a hands-on parent. All right, let's watch and see how hands-on was originally used so that you can use it yourself. Let's watch.
They call it 5-minute artisanal bread because it's about 5 minutes of hands-on work.
The next daily life English expression is to embrace something. Well, how can we use this? Does it talk about a hug, embracing something or someone? Not exactly. Let's take a look at how I used it in the baking video, and then we'll break it down together. Let's watch.
I put a spoonful of that in tea. And I drink tea all the time. Every night I drink herbal tea like an old lady. It's okay. I'll embrace it.
In this clip, I said, I drink tea every night like an old lady. It's okay. I just embrace it. Here I am accepting that I drink herbal tea every night. Maybe it's not something that most 30-something young people drink, but who cares? Maybe it's a little weird, but I will accept it or I will embrace it. When you hug someone, you can say, I'm embracing someone. And maybe it's kind of that idea, but in a figurative sense. I am embracing the idea that maybe it's not normal to drink herbal tea every night. Unless you're an old lady, but I'm going to accept it because it's just something that I enjoy doing. And I challenge you to use this phrase as well when it comes to English. Maybe for you, you wish that your English speaking accent was not so strong, that you were able to speak more clearly so that other people can understand you better. People often have to say, sorry, what'd you say when you speak? And you often feel frustrated at yourself because the way that you pronounce things isn't easily understandable. That is extremely common and very normal when you're learning another language. But what can you do about it? Well, of course, you can practice your pronunciation. I have plenty of pronunciation lessons that you can study here on my YouTube channel. But while you are improving your pronunciation, what should you do? You need to embrace it. Or we could say, embrace the way that you speak. Accept it. You speak the way that you speak because you speak another language. You have a native language, and that is why you have an accent when you speak in English. So accepting that you come from a different culture, a different country, a different background, a different language. And why do you have an accent when you speak in English? Well, it's because you have this whole beautiful existence, something that I don't have. I only have English as my native language. So embracing the accent that you have when you speak in English, that is an important thing, especially as you're on your English learning journey. Okay, let's take a look at how embrace was used to talk about drinking tea in that conversation. Let's watch.
I put a spoonful of that in tea. And I drink tea all the time. Every night I drink herbal tea like an old lady. It's okay. I'll embrace it.
The next daily life phrase is just to be safe, just in case. Both of these have a very similar meaning, and I used them together for extra emphasis. So let's see that original clip, and then we'll talk about it together.
Maybe you can. If you make this, let me know. Do you leave yours on the counter or do you put it in the fridge? I like to put mine in the fridge just to be safe, just in case.
I said I like to put my fermented drink in the fridge just to be safe, just in case. So what am I worried about? What is the danger here? Well, something could be rotten, something could get moldy. I would be drinking that, eating that, and getting sick. Not very fun. So to be safe, or just to be safe, just in case it gets moldy, I will put it in the fridge and it will delay that process and help it to stay fresher for longer. I'm not quite sure about that with the honey process. If you know more about fermenting with honey, let me know in the comments. But for me, just to be safe, just in case, I put it in the fridge and it helps me to feel more confident when I'm drinking that drink and I know that I'm not going to get sick. Now you can use these phrases separately and it's no problem. I just use them together as extra emphasis. Let me give you a quick example and I want you to be able to use this yourself as well. So it's pretty common. This happened a few days ago. My son's teacher sent a message to all of the parents in the class saying, "We played in the rain all afternoon. Please put a dry set of clothes in your child's backpack for tomorrow." Okay, I did that, no problem. But I know that my son often gets his feet wet even though he's wearing rain boots. So what did I do? I put 2 pairs of socks in his backpack just to be safe. Or we could say, I put 2 pairs of socks in his backpack just in case. Well, if he splashes in a puddle, rain gets in his boots and his socks get wet, he's gonna need another pair. What if he does it again? Psh, I know as a mother, as his mother, that is very likely. So I put an extra pair of socks in his backpack just to be safe, just in case. There's not real danger here. If his feet get wet, okay, it's probably fine. But we use this phrase when we're trying to avoid something, avoid the discomfort of wet feet. So you can use it no problem. All right, let's watch how this was used in the conversation so you can use it too.
Maybe you can. If you make this, let me know. Do you leave yours on the counter or do you put it in the fridge? I like to put mine in the fridge just to be safe, just in case.
The next daily life phrase is a fun one. It is don't mind me. Don't mind me. You might know the phrase, I don't mind, and it means I don't have an opinion or I don't care. We're going to use that word mind, but in a slightly different phrase, don't mind me. What does this mean? Well, let's take a look at how I used it in the conversation, and then I'll explain it to you so that you can use it as well. Let's watch.
And I'm gonna kind of use it as like a glue first. All right, sorry, I'm just using my fingers. Don't mind me. Ah!
In this clip, I was a little bit embarrassed because at home, the way that you bake or the way that you cook is maybe a little more informal than a way that someone might do it for an official cooking video. So I said, I'm just using my finger to catch this honey. Don't mind me. I felt embarrassed that I was using my hands, which is, kind of frowned upon, I guess, but it's totally normal. I bet you do it as well in the kitchen in your own home. My hands were clean, it's fine. But I used this phrase, don't mind me, to mean, don't be bothered by this. Don't pay attention to this. Continue walking along. Don't look over here. It's not a big deal. So this is kind of an expression that has a little bit of nuance to it. So I want to give you a couple other examples. Let's say that it's your husband's birthday and you have a present in your car that you want to bring inside to some hiding place so that he doesn't see it. But there he is in your living room. So you walk in with it behind your back and you have a very suspicious look on your face. And he says, hey, what are you doing? You say, oh, don't mind me. Don't mind me. Okay, well, you're obviously doing something secretive, but you want to convey to him, look away, continue doing what you were doing. Don't pay attention to me. And probably if it's around his birthday, he'll know, okay, it's probably something to do with my birthday. I shouldn't keep asking, no, what are you doing? What are you really doing? No, just let it go because you're trying to hide something for his birthday. I would say that we most often use don't mind me when we're doing something that's kind of silly and kind of embarrassing. So a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago at this point, I made a video with my neighbor, Michelle, the best neighbor in the world. And we were talking about our plants, the things that we grow, the things that we don't grow, the things that we wish we grew, and some of the processes that we use. And she said, well, Vanessa, did I see you in the garden with a needle injecting your plants? We were talking about an organic garden and not using pesticides. And I said, yes, I had a syringe, a needle. Inside of that, there was a bacteria that is a naturally occurring substance. It is technically organic. It is not a man-made chemical. And if you put it in the bottom of your pumpkin plants, at the base of the stem, it can help prevent a certain type of beetle from destroying your plants. But it's kind of embarrassing to be in your garden with a syringe. So in that instance, I could have said, if I was walking around the garden with a syringe looking for my pumpkin plants and Michelle saw me and said, Vanessa, what are you doing? I might use this phrase, oh, don't mind me, don't mind me. because it's something that's slightly weird or embarrassing, and I'm just trying to hint, hey, look away, not a big deal, don't pay me any attention. Kind of fun, right? All right, I want you to see how this was used in the original conversation to show some embarrassment. Don't watch this part. Don't mind me. Let's watch.
And I'm gonna kind of use it as like a glue first. All right, sorry. I'm just using my fingers. Don't mind me. Ah!
Well, our final real daily life phrase is I have found that. Or we could simply say, I found that. I want you to take a look at how I use this in the original conversation, and then we'll talk about it together. Let's watch.
I'm not quite sure exactly what this does. Maybe makes the gluten better or something. I don't know. But I have found that it works much better and the bread is a better texture if I mix it just a bit.
In this clip, I said, I have found that the bread has a better texture when I mix it after it has risen. This is something that I have discovered from my own personal experience. Maybe there's a scientific explanation for it. I don't know it, but it's something that I wanted to show you. I've experimented with different ways of making this recipe, and in my experience, I have discovered or I have found that this method works the best. I'm not using the word to find to talk about physically searching for something. Can you help me find my keys? Here I'm talking about finding an idea, finding a method. And for me, I have found that that's the best way for me to make bread. So for me, I might say I've found that when I drink coffee in the morning, I am so wired all day that I can hardly focus at all. Wired means a little bit crazy, a little bit anxious, a little bit of your heart pounding too fast. So I don't drink coffee. Instead, I drink a cup of black tea in the morning, and that is enough caffeine for me. I have experimented. I have discovered that drinking black coffee or milk coffee or any kind of coffee is not a good fit for me. Instead, black tea is better. So I have a question for you. Can you use this phrase, I found that, to show us some discovery you've had about your life? I found that speaking English every single week is challenging but really important. I've found that. Let us know in the comments. Try to use this phrase. It's my challenge to you. All right, let's watch that original clip again, and I want you to hear how I used I have found that. Let's watch.
I'm not quite sure exactly what this does. Maybe makes the gluten better or something. I don't know. But I have found that it works much better and the bread is a better texture if I mix it just a bit.
Well, congratulations. You just learned 10 common daily life English phrases that I used, and I hope now you can use as well. So what do you do next? Don't forget to download the free PDF worksheet. It includes all of these phrases, all of the definitions and nuances that I talked about in this lesson, plus a bunch of sample sentences so that you can really remember what you learned in today's lesson. Plus, there is the bonus quiz. Hooray! Quizzes can be fun when they're not required and they're not in school. So in the free PDF, there is a quiz so that you can test yourself. See if you can really understand how to use these phrases. And I challenge you, go out into the world and use them yourself. All you need to do to get this free PDF worksheet is to click on the link in the description, enter your name and email address, and voila, just like that, the worksheet will land in your email inbox. And you never need to sign up for my free PDF worksheets again because I will automatically send them to you every single week. Isn't that so cool? It is my gift to you. So make sure you click on the link in the description and get the PDF worksheet plus bonus quiz today. Well, thank you so much for learning English with me, and I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye. But wait, do you want more? I recommend watching this video next. This is the original conversation lesson where I bake bread and chit chat with you as you are invited into my kitchen and we have a lovely English conversation about baking bread and making a mystery drink. I can't wait to share it with you. I'll see you in that lesson. Bye.